In this week's Know Your Rights segment with Barbas Law, Catherine Stone is back with the importance of staying in contact with your attorney. I gotta say, Catherine, this seems kind of like a no-brainer, but you're saying that.
Well, you would think so. Well, first I would say, the attorney should always be keeping the client updated on the status of the file.
Okay.
I review the files. If I haven't spoken to or communicated with the client in the last 30 days, I'll send off an email or have my assistant call and, hey, just touching base, anything new we need to know about, nothing new on our end, here's still kind of what's going on. Because you would be surprised the number of clients that don't tell me things.
Which, I mean, you're talking about things like moving or relocating.
Yes, so, I always like to bring in my daily experiences. And I have a client who had moved to another state during the pendency of a case that I'm handling for him, and which was fine. Clients sometimes move around, and if it's a workers' comp claim, they still have to provide you with medical treatment, even though you're no longer in the state of Florida.
Okay.
So that wasn't that big of a deal. Then moved again to the opposite side of the country while we were in the midst of trying to get a new doctor. Then showed up in my office this week.
Wait, time out. Okay, so you're trying to get a doctor for this place that they first relocated, and then they moved again.
Well, actually, that person had seen a doctor in the first state, moved. And then that doctor had made some recommendations, and we were trying to get the carrier to authorize this treatment. And during the pendency of that, he moved halfway across the country.
Oh, wow.
And so then we've been working for the past couple of months on getting a doctor out in California. And we were basically this close to getting him a doctor, and he literally showed up in my office this week. He has moved back to Tampa.
So it's one of those things where maybe people think that the case is kind of over, or they might not need help, but you're saying no.
Well, I just think, life gets in the way sometimes, and I'm trying to be as very understanding as possible, but also know that, we are constantly monitoring and working on files. And so especially with relocation, relocating, or new doctors, especially with my Social Security clients, they'll go to a new doctor or they'll get referred to somebody and they don't tell me about it. And, I need to constantly make sure that I know who the doctors are. I need to know what the diagnosis is, so that I can properly kind of manage where we go with that case. And again, you'd be surprised. I've got a couple of clients right now that I haven't heard from in way too long. And unfortunately, when that happens, I have to send them a letter stating you need to contact my office. I haven't heard from you. I give them a deadline. If we still can't get in touch with them, then I have to send them, if it's not in litigation, I have to send a certified letter giving them the statute of limitations for their case, recommending that they go try and find another attorney, and that I'm closing my file. If the case is in litigation, whether it be Social Security, personal injury, workers' comp, whatever it may be, I have to then go file a motion with the court asking to withdraw from the case, and I have to get an order from the court.
So it's sometimes those details that you might not necessarily think are important to let you know. But
and it doesn't happen very often with regards to having to, no communication from the client. I would say maybe that happens, less than 1% of the time each year. But it's the communication between the client and the attorney that's so, so important.
It's that relationship.
And it's a back and forth thing. It shouldn't just always be the client providing you with information. It should also be anything that's new or anything you can give the client new about their file. I feel like you have an obligation to them to do that.
Two-way street of communication. Something we always talk about, it seems like. Well, if you have any questions about your rights, just give Barbas Law a call at 1-800-BARBAS-LAW, or go to barbaslaw.com/knowyourrights and keep talking, folks. Keep that communication open.